So recently we reviewed the Galaxy S21 Ultra, which is the company's highest end smartphone that they have to offer so far. But today though, we are only going to look at the company's entry-level smartphone, which is the Galaxy A02s. So this is the most basic since the first number starts with a 0, and then it is also the second generation of this A0 smartphone. So yeah, today we are going to take a look at this phone and see how well it actually performs. So just like many other smartphones that we reviewed on this channel right here, we'll be tackling a total of 6 points, and we'll be starting off with the design. Oh, the design. Okay, so for a basic smartphone like this though, I would say it actually looks really unique. So firstly, it has this kind of, I would go into a more nanotechnological term usage here. It's with a polycrystalline design, as you can see with all of the sections of this back panel here. It actually has a totally different angle of lines, and then within all of the boundary layers there's a hard cut, which tells you that each section is separate from each other, which I think it offers a really unique look despite it being a budget smartphone. And you can see that with every single section of this back panel here, it offers a slightly different reflection, which makes it even more eye-catching. Now, there are a few different colors for the Galaxy A02s, but for us here in Malaysia, as far as I can find, it's only available in both black and blue. And of course, the one that we have here is in blue. Yeah. Now, for the cameras, we should first highlight that this camera bump is nearly non-existent, and secondly, this camera bump actually reminds me of the Galaxy S20 series of smartphones. And there are a total of 3 cameras here, but only 2 of them can be used to take pictures. So as you can see all of the specs of the cameras here, we have the basic wide-angle camera, which does take some Samsung signature characteristic in a picture. So the colors and the contrast are punchy, but for this case, I would say the clarity is also, it's pretty good. And for the macro camera though, I do wish Samsung is using at least 5 megapixels for its macro camera sensor, so it will provide a much better clarity for those pictures. And as of now, it kinda looks a bit pixelated if you take some macro shots. But as for the display, it is using a 6.2-inch 720p screen with Samsung's own PLS LCD screen, and it is also having the same motion blur, which is caused by the slow pixel response time, which I do think that this screen right here is actually the same as the Galaxy A12, because they both have the same size, same notch, and also same resolution, same pixel response time as well. But we'll never know if it's actually exactly the same or not. But there is one differentiating factor between this screen and the screen on the Galaxy A12, and that is the colors. I do realize that the Galaxy A12 looks better than the Galaxy A02s because this display here it appears a bit more bluish compared to the Galaxy A12. Now for the battery life, this phone here is packed with a 5000 mAh battery, and within our battery life test, this phone can last for a really long time, and we are talking about 16 hours and 44 minutes from our PC Mark test, and that's just amazing. But what's not so amazing though is actually the charging time. It takes about 3 hours to reach from 15 to 100% using our Ugreen Gun charger, and that's just a bit slow in my opinion. Now, as for the specs of this phone, it's actually pretty simple. It comes with a Snapdragon 450 chipset, 2 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage, and overall the performance out of this phone, as seen in these benchmarks right here, the performance here is somewhat fine. While benchmarks don't really tell you the full story, I can tell you that while scrolling through menus or just pressing buttons on the screen, it doesn't immediately respond to my touches, but it does take a few milliseconds to do and respond and show up on the screen. And yeah, that's just something that I have been expected from a phone of this range. Now for the software, it's actually the same as the Galaxy A12 as well. So it comes with the Samsung One UI Core version 2.5 on top of Android 10. So you don't get a lot of the Samsung exclusive features, for example Edge Panel, Samsung Pay. So what you get out of this phone is just the look and feel of the One UI, but without most of the more premium features. Oh, we should also highlight that this phone doesn't actually come with a physical fingerprint reader, but you do have facial recognition. So if you want to unlock the phone easily, then you might as well resort in the more traditional pattern or pin, or just basic swipe unlock, or use your facial recognition. There's just no fingerprint scanner on this phone. And finally, the price. For this phone in particular, the only version that's available in Malaysia, as far as I can find, is the 4 gigs of RAM plus 64 gigs of storage version, and it is priced at 529 ringgit. I have seen some sellers selling it at 499 ringgit, and for that price, once again, just like the Galaxy A12 review, it really depends on what you prioritize in a smartphone. Again, if you want better user experience, because that is the first thing that you interact with when you unlock the phone, then perhaps you should get the Samsung Galaxy A02s or the Galaxy A12, because they are both using the exact same One UI Core 2.5. But if you want better specs for your money, maybe you want to play some games and you don't really care about the user interface or user experience that much, then perhaps get some of the other phones instead. And I know what phones you're thinking about. Yeah, get those instead. And that's it. That's all we have to share with you about the Galaxy A02s. It is actually not as entry level as I expected it to be, and yeah, it's pretty decent. So if you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section below. Check out our review for the Galaxy A12 right here. Yeah, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.